What's going on, Business Meter family? Welcome to the podcast. I truly believe that one conversation, just one, can shape someone's business, someone's career, or maybe even someone's life. And that's why we're here today. We're the Business Meter podcast, and today we're here to talk about personal things, talk about how businesses can flourish, business can grow, and business can become something that just more a side thing or.
Sure. Darcy Daoust. I'm the founder of D&DCPD, Workplace Protection and Compliance Group. Father of three, one heading off to university soon, and we try to build a life for them and try to kind of guide them. And it's nice to see that they're slowly creating, well, they've been creating their own lives for a while now, but it's nice to see the next step. What we do is essentially for about 10 years, I was an employment lawyer. And I would meet, small businesses and, medium-sized businesses and their employees after problems had already started. And litigation had begun, or the threat of litigation was there. The stakes were really high. The stress was really high. And going through the process of the court system and all of those things, it takes a long time. It's very costly. And one of the things that I realized was nobody's winning here. Even if we win in court, we're not winning. Right? By the time people are paying for all of the services and going through that whole system. So really, when I started this company, it was with, I guess, the vision of doing it differently, trying to be proactive when it comes to both employers and employees. And so that's kind of where we sit. We sit in this cross-section between HR and legal services, and we do it all. But we do it for small and medium-sized businesses that don't have access to like HR, departments and can't just run to a lawyer and pay $500 an hour. So we thought, there's got to be a better way to do this. So
That's great. I've lived in Ottawa for 11 years now, and I've never heard of such services. Usually people will think about going to free legal services that are mandated by either the government, or I know there is a service at the University of Ottawa, but they do not provide services that is very specific for this kind of problems.
they come in when the problems have already started, right? And so, what we try to do is we try to be proactive in, looking forward as far as, what problems could arise and how can we address those before they become problems and before they become litigation.
That's interesting. Huh. So, would you say that education in that matter is very important, and outreach for you as a business? I mean, outreach is also important, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, part of what we're doing right now and the big push with, all the social media and stuff is really to educate people that first, we're out there, and second, there's a need, right? You don't need to wait until problems start before you start addressing things. It's a lot less costly to sit down and look at your policies, your procedures, how you treat your employees, how they get along, and deal with those issues, from the get-go, than it is to wait for those things to turn into, toxic workplaces or ministry complaints, things like that, right?
Would you care to share with us a story or something that happened so that we can maybe learn from it?
Sure, yeah. I work with a lot of construction companies, and I think the attitudes have really changed over the years, and so a lot of construction companies are playing catch up on how they treat their employees, things like that. And so, I've been hired by a few of them. I can say it generally, not specifically with a certain company, but I've been hired by a few of them to come in and kind of redo everything. From the employment contracts, there's been a lot of change over the last couple of years as far as termination portions of the employment contracts. And a lot of them aren't worth the paper they're written on anymore, right? So, coming in and doing that, putting in policies, updating the policies, all of that. But more importantly, it's being also able to go in and educate managers and site supervisors, and then the employees, right? Telling them why these changes are happening. Instead of just throwing a bunch of policies in front of an employee and saying, these are your new policies, it really gives a sense of what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? And what we do is we come in and we can explain to everybody, this is why it's happening. We're not doing anything, behind your back. We're not trying to be shady. This is how we protect the company, and these policies also protect you, right?
We're going to move on to our next question.
Sure.
How did the idea of creating your business came up?
Well, I think I touched on it a little bit, but
Yeah.
the reality is it was really frustration, seeing the same things happen over and over again. Employees who are stressed out and employees who are resigning from their employment when they don't have to.
Yeah.
Employment is such an important thing for people, right? It's their livelihood. It's it's protection for their families, but it's also their identities, right? There's a lot of people out there who invest a ton of time, even after hours, on their careers, right? And invest in the companies they work for, the businesses they work for. And when that doesn't feel like it is acknowledged, really, when it doesn't feel like it's acknowledged, there's the hurt feelings start. When the hurt feelings start, it just kind of snowballs, and all of a sudden, it feels like a toxic. There's a lot of times where it feels like a toxic workplace, but it's not. But it still feels that way, and that's valid. And so, I really, from an employee side, I thought there's got to be something that we can give, where we can discuss it, figure out whether or not it is or it isn't. But that's where law ends, and that's where we can continue. Just because it's not legally something doesn't mean it's not valid.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be addressed, or at least there's an attempt to change it.
Yeah.
And with the employers, it really kind of comes down to what I was talking about before with, getting calls. A really good employer who has a bad day and out of frustration does something, or somebody who calls me up and says, I had no idea we had to have these things, right? Or a workplace accident that could have been avoided, right? If there was proper procedures in place. So, that's really the why behind it is that I just kept seeing these same things over and over.
Yeah.
And when I left litigation, it really was an opportunity to look ahead instead of, always trying to kind of put out the fires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good that you're saying this, and I'm so happy that there are companies out there doing the Lord's work. I'm Christian. I remember in one of my work experience, something happened that was really weird. So I had a supervisor, and she felt like I was not motivated by the work anymore. When even before that, they told me that they would change my task and duties because they felt like there was this new project that they wanted to build. Not that they didn't think my work was good enough.
Right.
It's just that we had this new idea that was good according to them.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, it was a good project, but they had shifted my focus.
Right.
And when I would go back to them, telling them, okay, when are we starting this? When are we starting? They told me, oh, no, wait a bit.
Right.
And then there was, we were at the same time going to training, like group trainings. And I would see sometimes people doze off during those trainings because it was early in the morning. Sometimes people would be tired. So some people would doze off. And there were people that were not focused, not really focused. Yeah. And I would always try to raise my hand, ask questions. And there was this one time where I, not really dozed off, but I did something similar because I was tired.
Right, yeah.
And then that supervisor used that to go and talk to a manager saying that, oh, this employee is not, she's not motivated anymore. Maybe something is happening. I don't see that she's doing the work.
Yeah.
And I was also in my personal life, I was working a lot. I was going to school. I was going back to school. We had a meeting, the three of us, and my manager was like, okay, I know things happen. I know you're a good person. I know you're a good employee. You did this, you did that. We know that something might be happening.
Right.
So maybe that's not you. What is happening? Like, we want to learn more about it. Yeah. And my manager after that approached me on the side and told me, oh, don't worry about what your supervisor say. She's new in her position, so she might not know some stuff, but I know you, I know how you work, and I know that sometimes life happens. Yeah. And I was really appreciative of that.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And because that manager had experience, he knew that it wasn't really me not being willing to do the job, or not me doing the job at all, but it was all circumstantial.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now imagine not having anybody to go to, right?
Exactly.
And so, that's what you bring up, a great area. Like, there's so many employees that are afraid to bring things up, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's medical, addiction issues, whatever it is, family issues. And we've been able to kind of find this area to help, which is, the first thing, we're not a law firm, not lawyers. So we're not coming in and saying, employer, you have to do this or this, right? We're able to come in and say, okay, here's the issue. Is just exactly what it is, what you were talking about, is a change in circumstances, whatever that change is. Yeah. So being able to have somebody to advocate. In your case, you had somebody who validated and who, made you feel like it's okay and I can continue on. But a lot of people don't have that.
Unfortunately. And I feel like there is a lot of education that we need to do in terms of employees, new supervisors, even new managers, because it happens a lot more than what we can believe, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so I will jump to the next question, which is... what is, if you can share with us, what was one of the happiest results you had?
So I did a mediation last year, and this was one of those times where I got a call from a new employer. There's a harassment complaint, all of that kind of stuff. And without going into too much detail, we were able to sit down at a mediation. So we had, both the employer and the employee agreed to have us come in as and it wasn't really a mediation, it was more of a discussion, right? But essentially a mediation. And just to kind of find out what the actual issues are. And I think, one of the things you were touching on earlier was kind of that interest end, right? Or you kind of coming from a point of view of a trauma. And a lot of people don't understand what trauma actually it is. There doesn't need to be a huge event to be a trauma. And so, we sat down and we talked. The agreement was there was not going to be any pointing of fingers. There was not going to be any, it was just, let's talk about what's been going on. We don't need to make a decision today. And 2 hours later, we had an employee who felt heard, right? And and she returned to work. And the reason why it's kind of a happy thing is a couple of weeks ago, I got another call from the employer on a different, and she's still there, and things are going really well. And like I was saying earlier, it's important. Employment is important. It's part of our identities. It's for some people it is their identity. Yeah. And so, it's really nice to hear that what we do makes a real difference instead of, finishing off a matter and then you never hear from anybody ever again. Yeah. Right?
No, it's good to know that employees can go to you as a company and have this kind of support system, or even if it's a way for them to have them communicate better with their employers. Yeah. That's really great, yeah.
Yeah, it's also when we're working with the employers, we're doing it from a view of protecting employees, because the end result is those employees, they're valuable, right? They are making the money. They are, they are the face of the business every day. And so, even when you're going in and you're hired by the employer, the view has to be, how do I also protect the employees?
Exactly.
It has to be, or else you're not actually protecting the employer.
Yeah. So how can someone from the region contact your business and reach out?
You can find us online. You can give me a call directly. My number is all over social media,
Yeah.
D&DCPD. It's on the web, it's D and an N, so dndcpd. The rest of it, it's, I don't know what the symbol is called, but,
Good.
or as I said, call me directly. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. We're trying to get the word out, really,
That's
that
good.
we're here and we're here to help.
That's great. So we're going to put the link to your website, to your website in the description, and leave your contact information for people that would want
Perfect.
to connect with you.
That's great.
And okay, on to more to a more social question, if I can say it like
Sure.
that. What is your favorite vacation destination?
I would say Mexico.
Mexico?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Riviera Maya area. That's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of traveling, I'm going to admit. The last few years have really been focused on building this business, and then, as I said, 3 kids keep the rest of my life pretty occupied, and I have a few other things on the go. So not a lot of traveling, but I would say Mexico was probably my favorite place. Anywhere where you can visit the countryside and have destinations, then that's kind of the vacation for me.
Are you more into hiking?
I think Peru is the next thing that I'd like to look at and kind of scale some mountains someday. So
That's great.
We'll see if we ever get that chance.
That's great. A lot of us go into entrepreneurship because we want to make money and obviously be able to travel everywhere we want and sit on the beach with our laptops. So the way you're putting things, you're saying things is like you're always busy. So it's not really motivating to become an entrepreneur.
I'm pretty satisfied as far as I love doing this type of work. I've always loved, I loved being a lawyer when I was a lawyer. I love doing what I do now. I would assume at some point I'll need a break, but right now I don't.
Yeah.
So we'll just keep on going.
No, that's good too. That's good too. We love when people are focused on the goals and but trying to, or not trying, but helping the community.
Yeah.
And that's everything we can hope for in terms of entrepreneurs and people in life in general. So
yeah, I think, for me, I try to find balance throughout the day with, exercise, all of that, so that I don't get to the point where I have to have a vacation or face burnout. But yeah, again, pretty satisfied.
that's good. And my last question, where does networking stands in terms of your marketing efforts or trying to communicate or tell the world about your business?
We're a group, right? So, that group is made up of people that I've met, some that I've known for a long time, lawyers, but others that I've met, through networking events and then gotten to know over time, right? I think on average, when somebody kind of is part of our network or our group, we've known them at least 6 months, maybe a little bit longer, even up to a year, to really get to know each other, make sure we fit, make sure that this is a person that I feel comfortable saying to clients. Give them a call. If you like them, great. If you don't, that's fine. But at least, be able to send them. So it's really important because a lot of my business comes from, word of mouth. And so, it's hugely important.
Yes. So we're going to leave viewers with that. Networking is very important, especially if you're trying to grow your business. So come to our next event. We are Business Meter. We host events in the Ottawa-Gatineau region. And maybe next time we're going to host an event near you, wherever you are. And Darcy, can you give a last word of advice to our viewers? It could be anything.
Last piece. Don't wait before it's too late.
Yeah.
We offer, a free 30-minute consultation. Call us. At worst, you don't. We have a conversation. Hopefully, you feel better about it. You don't really have anything to lose. So, protect what you've built. That's kind of our motto. Protect what you've built, whether it's your business or your reputation. Give us a call.
That's great. Okay. Regarding that, I have a question.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, what do you think? What would be a good question for someone that is starting in a new job, like in terms of HR, litigation?
What's a good question for me to ask them?
Yes, no, for the employee. Let's say I start work in a new company.
Okay.
What do you think I should ask as questions to make sure that this company really cares about their employees and they have a system in place to?
Right. So if you're talking about before the hiring process or once you've been hired, that answer's a little bit different.
Oh, okay.
But I think, before the hiring process, if you ask an employer, can I meet employees in your company and talk to them before we meet? If an employer is really proud and really confident in their workplace, they have no problem doing that.
Wow.
And I guess the same goes after you're hired in. But yeah, that's something in advance that you can ask. It depends on the circumstance, but if you're into your second round of interviews, and there's one interview left, there's no issue, I don't think, in asking that question, really, especially if you feel unclear about what the company is all about.
No, I love that. Thank you so much, Darcy. So let's, our main key takeaway here is don't wait till it's too late. So you have Darcy's business info in the description. You can contact them directly or reach out to us so that we can make the connection between you and his company. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.